Sometimes the person who loves you the most says the least. They do not constantly prove it with words. They do not demand attention. And sometimes they stay strangely quiet, while others speak loudly about their feelings. The one who cares the deepest may simply watch from the background. And this can feel confusing, because we often believe love should always be obvious. It should be spoken. It should be shown openly. But psychology suggests something surprising. The person who truly loves you may sometimes remain silent for reasons that are deeper than they appear. And once you understand those reasons, their silence begins to carry a very different meaning. Emotional setup. In many relationships, we expect clear signs of affection. Messages, compliments, constant reassurance. These signals make us feel secure. They help us understand where we stand. But human emotions are not always expressed the same way by everyone. Some people speak openly about their feelings. Others express emotions quietly. Psychologists explain that emotional expression is strongly influenced by personality, life experiences, and past relationships. For some people, love feels natural to express loudly. For others, love becomes something they show through actions rather than words. And this difference can sometimes create misunderstanding. Because when someone becomes quiet, we may assume they care less. But in some cases, the opposite may be true. Reveal the theme. Silence between two people is rarely empty. It often carries emotions that are difficult to express. Psychology shows that when someone feels deeply connected to another person, they may sometimes become more careful with their words, more thoughtful with their actions, and sometimes more silent. Not because the feeling is weak, but because the feeling is strong. Today, you will discover 3 psychological reasons why the person who loves you the most may sometimes remain quiet. Truth number 1. Deep emotions can create fear of losing you. The first reason silence appears in deep love is fear. Not fear of you, but fear of losing the connection. Psychologists explain that when someone values a relationship deeply, they may become more cautious. They think carefully before speaking. They hesitate before expressing certain feelings, because they do not want to risk damaging something that matters to them. This caution can sometimes look like emotional distance, but internally, it may simply reflect how important the relationship feels. For example, someone who loves deeply may avoid unnecessary arguments. They may stay quiet during emotional moments, not because they do not care, but because they want to protect the relationship from conflict. Their silence becomes a form of emotional restraint, a way of preserving something they value. Truth number 2. Some people express love through actions, not words. The second reason someone may stay quiet is connected to personality. Psychologists often describe different love languages. Some people express affection through words. Others express it through actions. They help when you need support. They listen when you feel overwhelmed. They stay present during difficult moments. These individuals may not constantly say how much they care, but their behavior quietly reveals it. And sometimes those actions speak louder than any sentence. Because love expressed through presence often feels calm, steady, reliable, even if it is not always spoken aloud. Truth number 3. Quiet people often feel emotions more deeply. The third explanation is more psychological. People who are naturally quiet often process emotions internally. Instead of expressing everything outwardly, they reflect inwardly. They observe. They think. They feel deeply but speak carefully. Psychologists explain that emotionally reflective individuals often avoid dramatic expressions of feeling, not because their emotions are weak, but because their emotional world is more internal. They may spend time understanding their feelings before sharing them, and sometimes that process creates silence. But beneath that quiet surface, the emotional connection can be very real. Final wisdom. Now here is something important to understand. Silence in a relationship does not always mean a lack of love. Sometimes it simply means love is being expressed differently. But at the same time, Silence should never become an excuse for emotional distance that causes confusion or pain. Healthy relationships grow through understanding, through communication, through mutual effort. So when someone you care about is quiet, it is important to look beyond the absence of words. Pay attention to actions. Notice how they treat you during difficult moments. Observe whether they remain present when life becomes challenging. Because genuine care often appears through consistency rather than constant expression. And someone who truly values you will not only feel deeply, they will also show it through steady presence in your life. Emotional closing. Human emotions are complex. Not everyone expresses love in the same way. Some people speak loudly about their feelings. Others show their care quietly through patience, support, and loyalty. And sometimes the person who says the least is the one who feels the most. Because deep love often carries a sense of responsibility, a desire to protect the connection, a wish to keep the relationship peaceful and meaningful. So the next time someone in your life seems quiet, take a moment to look deeper. Sometimes silence is not distance. Sometimes it is simply the calm presence of someone who truly cares. Call to action. If this video helped you understand human psychology and emotional behavior more clearly, subscribe for more insights about relationships and the hidden patterns behind human connection. Because sometimes the quietest people in our lives are the ones who love us the most.